I'm Leah Cottam, a Content and Media Manager at RemoFirst, and your employer branding expert. Employer branding is crucial in today's global landscape, with 86% of job seekers researching a company's brand before applying. How do you build a brand that resonates worldwide, especially in a remote-first world? That's where I'm going to talk about it. This episode is going to be talking about building a global brand in a remote-first hiring world. So if you're here, you may already know what employer branding is, or maybe you're just trying to learn a little bit more about how to change that into a global environment and a remote-first hiring. So employer branding is how a company positions itself as a great place to work, how it's perceived by current employees, job seekers, and even competitors. A strong employer brand can help attract top candidates and retain employees, allowing employees to feel more connected to the company's values, mission, and vision. But in a remote-first world, employer branding isn't just about office perks, pizza parties, or cool headquarters. It's about culture, flexibility, and trust. Things that are hard to showcase when teams are distributed across different countries and time zones. I remember when I first started working remotely and my mindset completely changed. I didn't care about fancy offices, free coffee, although that is one of the great perks. I cared more about whether I feel connected to my team, whether I'm communicated well to, what that is like, if it's smooth, and if I have the flexibility in my schedule. These things are definitely what's shaping employer branding today, and especially for global companies. So, as I said, I guess traditionally employer branding focuses on that office environment, the location, in-person culture and team events, happy hours and team lunches, which we do all love, and a strong presence at local career fairs and that physical networking, client face-to-face meetings. However, remote-first employer branding has completely changed the way it works. That flexibility and autonomy, async work from anywhere policies, the digital community and culture, Slack, virtual town halls, and remote team bonding sessions, and that global inclusivity, making employees feel part of a unified culture, no matter where their location. If it's just via a laptop and you've done well, that means you've nailed remote-first employer branding. GitLab is a great example of this. They're a 100% remote company, and they've mastered employer branding for a distributed team. How they openly share their remote work handbook. It's a massive document outlining everything from communication to career growth. They highlight employer stories from different countries on their blog and social media. It's great to see the employee take over and see where they're based in the world and what they're currently up to and what their role is in the company. They emphasize transparency, which builds that trust with job seekers who might be skeptical about working remotely, but also for the employees who work there. Hopefully, I'm making it sound quite easy. But of course, building an employer brand for a global remote-first workforce comes with many unique challenges. And here, I'd say are the top three. Challenge number one is consistency versus localization. Of course, you want your employer brand to be consistent, but when hiring in multiple countries, employer branding needs to be consistent yet adaptable. You want every employee to feel like they belong, no matter where they're based, but different cultures have different expectations. Here's an example. A company with employees in the US and Japan might see different work cultures. US employees may really value flexibility and autonomy, whereas in Japan, there's a strong emphasis on hierarchy and structured career paths. It's key to keep things in note when having global employees. Keep core values and the mission the same across regions, but adapt messaging to resonate locally. For example, global companies often tailor their careers pages for different regions, showcasing different employee testimonials and benefits which are tailored to that reason. Of course, the next challenge of employer branding in a remote-first environment is compliance and perception. Employer branding isn't just about marketing. It's also about how candidates perceive job security and compliance in different regions. There are many common concerns that candidates can have Will my contract be secure? Will I get the same benefits as someone in another country? How does the company handle remote employees legally? For example, a company hiring in Brazil, Germany, and India may need different employment structures. If this isn't communicated clearly, it can really damage the trust in the hiring process. So, what do? You have to be transparent about employment types and benefits. Therefore, job seekers and people that are being onboarded to your company will truly trust you from the start. You will have a trust in your employer brand, and that mission, values will be true to what you believe in. And use an employer of record, like RemoFirst, to ensure compliance and reassure candidates that they'll be legally protected when being onboarded to your company. Number 3, remote first work is building a strong sense of culture and trust. When employees feel like they aren't in the same office, how do they feel connected? I think showcasing your work on culture on social media, such as Instagram posts, is a really great way to show what your employees are up to, but also what job seekers are to expect before they apply. You should over-communicate your remote work culture on your website, job descriptions, and of course, social media, showcasing real employee experiences through videos, blogs, or testimonials from people who are actually experiencing this employer brand from inside is a really great way to showcase that what you've got is a really strong sense of culture and trust throughout your business. So we've looked at the challenges, but how do we actually stand out as a remote first employer? Of course, the best employer branding comes from within. Employee storytelling is key to showcasing what truly is and what truly your company is for. I know I've mentioned this before, but the employer brand messaging should resonate globally. I think key way to do this is be clear about the remote working policies, async, vsync work, what required time zones you have to work in, travel policies, things like this build transparency and allow people to work in an environment which truly does fit into their schedule. Again, highlighting international benefits that are specific to this country when people are looking at your careers page really will tailor what they're looking for. And it might just be the person who is your next hire. Highlighting things such as specific healthcare, if you cover co-working costs, or annual retreats can really be the tip of the iceberg for people. For example, Buffer, a fully remote company, openly shares its salary and benefit structure on its website. This builds trust and sets clear expectations for any candidate wanting to go onto that page and apply for a job. Then, once they've applied, they've got the job. But you have to remember that your onboarding and employee experience is all a part of the employer branding. Employer branding doesn't stop after hiring. It continues through onboarding and beyond. Shopify, which has a distributed workforce, has a 30-day remote onboarding program that includes a personal onboarding buddy, virtual meet and greets with leadership, and clear documentation for new hires. If you can be truly confident in your onboarding process and allow for somebody to be sat at their desk at home thinking that their first week, second week, and third week as a remote employee really resonates with their internal values, I think this is going to be a really great employer branding that resonates with remote first employees. I know we've only scratched the very surface of global employer branding for remote first workforce, but I wanted to give you 3 quick action takeaways that you can go ahead and start looking at today. You should definitely audit your employer brand presence. Google your company and check out your careers page as if you were someone that was going to be researching your company. What shows up? Is there different clickable careers pages for whatever country you're in? Are you showcasing that you're hiring? Is it easy to find that careers page button? If not, these are definitely some starting points that you could start off at. Head to your Glassdoor page, and if you're not replying to reviews or fixing outdated job listings on there on your careers page, you need to be doing so. If people are reporting interview processes in a good or bad way, these have to be looked at. If you're not replying to reviews, this can look even worse on your company. Those bad reviews still need to be answered. Engage employees as brand ambassadors. This is key to be able to utilize social media in a way for employees to use this platform to showcase what is actually happening and what it's like to work for you. Encouraging employees to share experiences on social media allows for that true, real voice to be heard straight from the horse's mouth. And it's exactly what employer branding is all about. Clarify and communicate your remote work culture as much as you can, updating job descriptions and careers pages to clearly state your remote working policies. People want to make sure and have trust in your company if you are a remote first workforce, because people may be worried entering this environment if they haven't done it before, or if they've done it before, they know exactly how it works, and you want to be a strong person in this field. If you are hiring globally and need help navigating this compliance, of course, Remote First can help. So don't worry about that part. So to wrap things up, global employer branding isn't the same for Remote First world. Companies really do need to think differently about how they attract and retain top talent across borders. We've covered the biggest challenges businesses face when hiring internationally and shared those best practices to help you stand out in a competitive global market. If you found this episode helpful or want to find out more about employer branding, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your network. I'm more than happy to answer any questions on LinkedIn if you want to connect with me. And of course, if your company is hiring globally, check out RemoFirst for global hiring and compliance advice and a platform that can help you. Thank you so much for listening, and stay tuned for episode 3. See you next time. Bye.